I was just 6 days old when my father died, and that made me a queen. Negotiations were started for my betrothal. A treaty was signed. I was to marry the English king's son at 10 and move to England. I had no choice. The English broke the treaty and went to war with us. At 5 years old, I escaped Scotland on a ship to France. I arrived in Paris, promised to the king's young son in exchange for military aid. I was educated at the French court. I learnt their language and customs. All the while my kingdom was ruled for me. I was married to the Dauphin at 15. And a year later I became Queen of France when his father died in an accident. My husband was dead within the year. I returned home to claim my birthright. I was fiercely Roman Catholic. In a country undergoing a Protestant Reformation, I chose to marry a man who had flexible religious beliefs. We had one son, James. My husband was murdered in an explosion near Edinburgh. I had been there just hours earlier. 2 months later, I was abducted by the man accused of my husband's murder. I married him soon after. Whether I was forced or was part of the plot is still debated to this day. Rebellion followed. I was imprisoned for a year in Lochleven. I suffered a miscarriage and was forced to abdicate in favor of my son. I escaped the castle by drugging the guards, taking the keys and rowing to safety on the loch. Days later, I raised an army. But at Langside, we were defeated. I had to flee south to England. I had hoped that my cousin, the Queen, would come to my aid. But my blood and religion meant she saw me as a threat. For the next 18 years, I was moved from castle to castle, but never free. I often corresponded with the Queen, and she would call me her dear sister. Eventually, I received letters from a young rebel. He was plotting to assassinate the Queen. My replies were being watched, and it led to my downfall. The Queen signed the warrant for my death, and her men acted quickly. I was the Scottish Queen with a French accent, never truly loved by my people. After death, I had the last laugh, as my son became King of England. It's later said the Queen regretted my death. But I do not absolve her of blame. Who am I?